out there, for if you could raise your hands, I want to see who has never been to a skeptic event before. This is your first time. Okay. Great. Thank you for coming. We're just so excited always to have new people who want to learn about scientific skepticism. So, I've been a member of Monterey County Skeptics since 2011, and I haven't always been a good skeptic. So I wanted to talk a little bit about just my journey through skepticism and, you know, how I came to be here today. Because, you know, we're not born skeptical, you know. We might be. Some of us might have some natural skepticism, some might not. But it's definitely a process and something that you have to engage in and learn. So anyway, for the new people, I congratulate you. You've taken an important step toward being a critical thinker and a scientific skeptic just by showing up today. So, since we've just come through the holidays, I wanted to share a little Christmas story with you, which kind of illustrates, you know, how I got started as a skeptic. So, the year is 1966. I'm 7 years old, living in Watsonville, which is a little town near here. And I was starting to have a lot of doubts about Santa Claus. So, the house that we were living in didn't have a chimney. I was mystified. How in the hell was Santa supposed to get into my house to deliver the presents? I just could not wrap my head around this. So I asked my mother about it, and she said something to appease me. I don't remember what. But whatever it was, it did not make sense. I'd also been pondering the whole thing about Santa delivering all the presents in one night, and suspected it was physically impossible. I had all this going on in my little 7-year-old brain, and all of a sudden these words were coming out of my mouth. Mom, I don't believe there's a Santa Claus. I think it's you and Dad. So my mother took me by the arms, and she looked right in my face, and she said, "You better not ever say that again, or Santa's never going to bring you another present." So I shut up. I was like, oh my God. My mother was really serious about this. But I knew for certain at that point something indisputable. I knew beyond the shadow of a doubt that I was right. And I knew I better keep my mouth shut or I'd never get another present. So you could say I was born somewhat skeptical. And maybe I was, but to be honest, I wasn't a very good skeptic throughout most of my life. Despite the fact that I'm a journalist, I worked for newspapers for many years, and you know, and I'm still freelancing as a writer and editor. I believed a lot of really crazy stuff for a long time, but you know, I grew up in the 70s, so what can I say? So I had a long way to go. I did believe in science. I grew up, you know, my dad was a doctor. We always had a lot of scientific and medical books around, and I loved science from forever. But I believed in a lot of really wacky stuff as well. I mostly believed because other people believed it, and I took it for granted that, well, it must be true because other people believe it. So, you know, so I sort of fell into that lazy way of thinking about, you know, certain things like astrology, for instance. I hung out with a group of people who were really into astrology and tarot readings, and, you know, so on and so forth. I believed in ghosts, you know, I believed in acupuncture. I believed in ancient aliens and all kinds of stuff, UFOs. As much as I hate to admit it, I did think at one point that Bigfoot might be real. So, So these beliefs, you know, kind of persisted, and, you know, to be honest, I wasn't like a big advocate, but I, you know, if somebody were to press me and say, you know, do you believe in this, I would say, oh, yeah, I guess so, whatever. So, you'd think as a journalist, I would have been more skeptical about a lot of things, and yet I was not. So, what finally brought me to organized skepticism was a couple of lucky accidents. I met my husband, Glenn Church. Woo, that's good. And he was a skeptic, and he had a subscription to Skeptic magazine, so we used to talk about all this stuff a lot when we first got together. And then in 2011, he said to me, hey, they're having this thing in Pasadena, we should go. It was called the Science Symposium. And that was another sort of lucky accident because I got to meet all these incredible people in the skeptic movement. And I got to actually like meet them and talk with them one-on-one. I met Michael Shermer, who's the founder of the Skeptics Society, met Bill Nye, the science guy, and the amazing Randy. We spent 20 minutes talking to Randy, just the three of us together. It was amazing. So, it really was.
Oh, amazing.
So that was just an incredible day. But even more incredible was we started talking to some of the other people at the event. And they started talking about the skeptic groups that they were in. We're going, skeptic groups? What is that? And so the first thing we did was we went back to our motel room and we Googled Monterey County Skeptics. And that's how we found Susan and the Monterey County Skeptics. And so we've been in it ever since. And I really feel like with the local skeptic group, we really found our tribe. We found this great group of people to hang out with and talk with, and people who were willing to talk about a lot of subjects and question them and explore, and that was a revelation. It's the beginning of great friendships and conversations. And it was through these meetings, we have monthly meetings and other get-togethers, that I started questioning a lot of these things that I had previously believed in. And so, I realized there was really no evidence for ghosts or Bigfoot or acupuncture or a lot of things. And being able to fully embrace the skeptic way of thinking is something that's come to me later in life, but I'm so glad that I have finally found it. It's like a muscle, unless you exercise that muscle regularly, it's flabby. And you have to keep at it all the time and not let yourself fall into lazy ways of thinking about things. You have to demand the evidence, you have to question, you have to pursue the truth. And so my life is so much richer now, knowing these people and being involved in this. And so, I encourage all of you to explore, to question, and to demand the truth. So for myself, not believing in Santa was a great first step, but it wasn't the only one. I'm still working at it every day. It's definitely a process, and that's one I intend to keep perfecting.